Welcome to Shorty Supercoach. Going to take a look at the Dockers today. Now, I'm doing this on Tuesday, but I'm feeling like I'm probably going to put this up on my channel on Friday, which means the weekend's close and Shorty is returning to the Geelong Hotel. So if you're going to GH on Saturday night, for you Geelong bastards out there, get around it. I haven't been there for like how long we've been locked down for. I went there once. But it was one of those, like, you kind of meant to sit down arrangements and you can't sort of... Anyway, I'll be smashing some vodka raspberries on that dance floor if anybody wants to join me. But look, Fremantle, that's a long way from GH. But let's take a look at the Dockers. Going to look at their lock, the risk, breakout contender. And the bloke I've got as no chance is one of our absolute all-time favourites. And it hurts me to even have him there. But... let's take a look at it. And to be honest, the Dockers were pretty tough. So I don't know if we'll be picking many of them this year. Quite a few of their youngsters broke out last year and they're just sort of too expensive but not quite reliable enough. So it makes them tricky. I had as a lock, I had Luke Ryan. Now, I think he's a great player and a star, but I can't really say just lock him in your side, set and forget. I mean, he's priced real top end, averaged 107. I think his true average probably lies around 98 to 102. So you're paying top dollar, probably paying overs. But of the Dockers side, I think he's the most reliable super coach option and was definitely benefited by just being able to take so many intercept marks, but also just run and gun from the kick in. Just got a lot of easy points in that way. The risk, Michael Walters. Now, for a long time, he's been a guy that's had us scratching our heads. He can be absolutely unbelievable at times. And probably a few years back now, he was super frustrating. But it's fair to say he's ironed out a few of those kinks. But I still think there's some concern there in terms of starting him. I always think if you look through Walters' previous years, he rarely plays every game. So I think he either gets suspended or injured. So I'd be probably steering clear from a starting point of view. And I think we've got a lot of other good options. Walters has had a fantastic career. He started off as a little forward pocket bloke that had lots of talent, but maybe wasn't going to fulfill it. But he's turned into an outstanding player. So I think he's a guy that we might look at bringing into our sides rather than starting with him. Now, a few breakout contenders. And I've got three names here, but none of them... I don't know. My heart's not in it here. I don't think any of them are truly going to break out, but they're worth noting. Sean Darcy. Now, we know ruckmen take a while. Last year, he averaged 22 hitouts. Rory Lobb averaged 9 per game. So, Darcy's doing the majority without being an absolute standalone ruck. How much will that change? Don't know. But Darcy is a likely type. I really rate him. I just think he's the sort of guy that when he fully develops as a ruckman and gets truly into his prime, which he's getting really close now, he's going to be that big-bodied frame that's really tough to move off the ball, get a lot of hit-outs and a lot of contested ball. He reminds me a bit of Shane Mumford sort of stuff. And even Brad Ottens, just on hands and knees, dishing it out to the mids. That's what I can see him doing. His averages 78, 74, 74, and in his first year, still his highest, 78.8. So he's just lurking there. He's just lurking. I wouldn't be surprised if we see his average go beyond 90 at some stage, but I don't know. I can't sit here and say pick the bloke. No one's thinking about it anyway, but I just think, maybe he's one for your draft. Maybe he could be a nice backup for your draft side. Griffin Logue. He's a top pick, really talented guy, just can't get that body right. And I remember, was it 2 years ago, he had started off with like 100 and a 90. It was a really nice kick, can take a mark as well. Well, look, he ended the year, what was it? I think he had scores in rounds 4 and 5. He had scores of 109 and 106. And I'm pretty sure they were his last 2 games. So he missed the majority of the season, which he's done quite a lot. So I'm not sure exactly where he's priced at. Again, I'm not saying pick this guy, but sometimes it's nice to just put these guys out there. Particularly, it was tough looking for a breakout contender. I think they had a lot last year. I mean, you probably like Brayshaw, Chera, Sarong really lifted his ranking as well. So they had a lot last year, and they're probably just looking to maintain a bit of that rather than Breakout, most of these guys. And Blake Acres, I'm just chucking in there. He was in my draft team and proved like a really good selection late in the year. Rounds 6 to 8, he scored 46, 89, and 28. And then in the last 4 games, averaged 107, including 3 tons. I think he scored about 70 in the last round, but had a really good few weeks there. And in reality, that's probably all it is. It's probably just a few good weeks. But I could see him averaging 90. I remember at the Saints, he had a year where I think he averaged about 88. So he's a talented guy. Perhaps he found his role late in the year. So maybe he could be a sneaky selection late in the year for your draft team. Now, no chance for my side. Now, it pains me to say it. It really does. But I can't just sit here and say, don't pick Ethan Hughes. I've got to have some sort of relatability to Supercoach or put my pills on the line a little bit. No chance for my side. Nat Fyfe. I'm sorry, mate. He's one of my faves. I reckon he's a ripper. He's been in my side so many times over the journey. But we're starting to see him probably play quite a bit more time in the forward line. And what concerns me the most is that the Dockers seem quite happy to have him do that role. They've got a young brigade of youngsters in the middle there. They seem quite happy for Fyfe to probably play, 60 to 70% mid. But there's times where they're quite happy for him to spend most of the quarter in the forward line. So unless we hear anything different, I'm probably not going to change my tune on that unless anything happens throughout pre-season. But he just seems like it's just concerning, I reckon, because it's not like he's cheap. He still averaged pretty reasonable because I think it was late in the year where it seemed to be like either he or Walters were forward. They like to have one of those guys in the forward line, one in the middle. And depending on the scenario, I remember Fyfe had, I think he set the world on fire in the first half, whatever game it was. I think he had 15 touches. And then they went forward, and I reckon he had like 1 touch in the third term, and it just knocks the stuffing out of you. And I like when I'm picking my midfielders and spending that much coin that I know that they're going to be more often than not, every stoppage, all the centre bounces, as much as they can. They're the main guy. Fyfe's still a superstar. He's going to have a great year. I'm not writing him off. Don't get me wrong. But when you're spending that much coin, I don't want any question marks in the back of my mind. I don't know about you. I just want to know that they're in the prime of their careers. And let's face it, Fyfe's had some injury troubles too. If I'm paying that much coin, I want a guy in prime of his career, main guy around the stoppage, the go-to guy when the game's on the line. Fyfe, game on the line, I'm sure he's probably still going in the middle, but the Dockers are in that stage where they're a bit transitional, still looking to put a lot of time into the Cherries, the Brayshaws, the Sarongs. I'm sure there's a couple of blokes I missed there because I've got a few in there, but yeah, it just worries me. And look, of all the no chances I've put out there, that's probably the most glamorous that I've put there. So feel free to smash me for that if you like, but that's just the way I've seen it. So that's the Fremantle review from Shorty. If you haven't checked out my other reviews, I've got a bit of a playlist going, so I've added them as they go. So feel free to just, hit play on that, create that little playlist, click on it, and it'll just run straight through. Chuck it through the old stereo if you're driving around, or just throw it on if you're cruising at home. So Supercoach Talk as well, been doing a few videos for them. So get along to their website too. And if you've come across me from them, thank you very much. That's what it's all about, sort of sharing the love. We both do some good content, so we're sort of combining for the first time. But anyway, all the best. I hope those Friday feels are treating you well. Enjoy the weekend, knock a few back, and have some fun. Cheers.